So we'll start with Xanthe. What about Housing Complex C grabbed you and really made you want to be part of it?
Well, to be honest, I didn't know anything about this project going into it, except that it was horror. The studio did reach out and asked if I was okay with this kind of material before getting the chance to work on it. And I said I was interested, even though quite a, quite a scaredy cat when it comes to anything spooky. But yeah, I guess I wanted to try something different, and it's been a really cool ride.
Awesome. And Kaylee?
Yeah, same situation. Just like, are you okay with horror? Actually, I really love horror. I've been doing like a lot of like the interactive theater stuff this year. Once I started working on the project, though, what made it feel so different to me was there's a Lovecraftian element to this, and I was like, what? So I got very excited about that. So, yeah.
Ooh.
Awesome. And Xanthe, what do you find most interesting about Kimmy as a character?
Kimi, I guess she's just such a bright little like ball of energy. She wants everybody to get along. She's just really sweet and like trying to make sure that everybody's happy. Everybody that's living there seems to love her. When the new residents arrive, she just wants everybody to get along and be friends as well. And so that's like forget what your question was, but I think that's
Oh
what
yeah,
I really
just
like about her.
yeah, no, it was what you like about her, so that's perfect. And Kaylee, Yuri's already going through a lot, having just moved, and now there's, as you mentioned, Lovecraftian stuff going on and all this tension. What was it like to kind of get in the headspace for those lines?
I mean, it's just like if you're this in this brand new place and you're already scared enough of like new people. Like I know if I'm in a new place, like I'm already scared enough just to like talk to new people. And now on top of that, like, there's somebody at like, we have Kimmy and she's super nice and we're able to make friends, but then the first thing that we all do together, this little nice shaved ice party, there's something special in the syrup. uh so yeah, it's like, okay, so I'm gonna go out of my comfort zone. I'm gonna make a friend, and wow, it's already turning out bad. So it's just like a lot of anxiety. But also, I feel like Yuri isn't as freaked out as you might expect, and I think we'll probably find out why in the next couple episodes.
Mm.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And it's for both of you again. We can start with Xanthe. Housing Complex C is only 4 episodes in length. What's it like to kind of tell a story with a quicker pace than most shows with your characters?
I think because of that, because it's so short, there's so much world building that needs to happen in these first few episodes. So I feel like in the first 2 episodes, there is a lot of like lore that's been like given out, especially when Kimmy sings the song and then Taka has to explain some of the components of the song so that it doesn't sound like just a bunch of words thrown together. Um, and what was the question again?
Oh no, all good. Yeah. So like, is it difficult to kind of tell the story in only 4 episodes, or does
Yeah.
that affect how you do your performance?
I think for me, we rely so much on Bill because he's been able to like digest the show before like we get to work on it, and like he's also getting like the whole story, whereas like a lot of times we're only getting to know what's happening exactly with our character. So he's been explaining a lot of things on the way as we were recording, so that I understood what was happening, and he also withheld a lot of information because he wanted us to discover it as the characters as well.
That's so
Yeah, that's a
cool.
lot of fun.
Yeah. So and then we'll start with Kaylee this time. How do you guys view the friendship between Kimmy and Yuri?
I mean, from what we've seen so far, it's incredibly sweet. Like, they're the only two girls of that age, and they just connected so well, just instantly, like, both of them accepting each other and wanting to share their lives, and Yuri being so open to, like, oh, what do you do for fun? Instead of being like, oh, that's like gross country stuff. Like, she was super open to it, like, oh, yeah, let's go try this thing, and let's like go explore together. And I think that that's just so sweet because there's so many times where you go into like I've moved around schools a lot. I go to new places and the people there are just like, nah, no thank you. And you try to make friends with them, and they're like, "That's weird because I've never seen it before." So the fact that they connect so quickly and so well is very sweet.
Mhm.
For sure. And Xanthe, did you have anything to add on?
Yeah, I feel like I love that they're dynamic because Yuri is a little bit like a little bit more mature and mellow, whereas Kimi is like very like in your face, like I want to do all these things. She's kind of like a bit of a prankster too, trying to show how clever she is and like all the new things that she's learned, even if it may or may not be like the correct usage of certain words and such. And like even when Yuri and her had just met, she's like, I want to show you something cool, and then she like spooks her. But I love that Yuri's not one to like back down either. She'll call her out, or she'll be like, all right, since I'm older, I'll like go into this like scary dark place first, and I'll
Yeah,
protect you in a way. So
I'm the big sister.
so they have a great
Yeah,
like balance to each other.
Yeah, it's a good dynamic.
absolutely. And we'll start with Xanthe this time. There's an interesting mix of characters in the complex, especially with the different foreigners and the elderly people, and that causes some racial tensions between, especially the more elderly population and them. So, what do you find most intriguing about that kind of mix of personalities that happens in the show?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see like how that kind of reflects maybe some of this what's happening in our own world. But I love that the character Taka is a little bit more open and level-headed and being like, oh, well, we shouldn't be so close-minded. We should listen to them and get to know them so that we can find common ground rather than just be like, oh, that's different than what I'm used to. You shouldn't be doing that because it makes me uncomfortable because I don't understand you. So I think that's really nice to get to hear the different characters' point of views, and some of the other ones are like, a little bit more laid back and being like, all right, that's, we'll just leave them alone and they'll leave us alone. And but of course, Kimi is like, no, we should all get together and be friends.
For sure. And Kaylee?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the interns came in and they were very willing to kind of learn and integrate with like the world around them, but then they just got so much backlash that they didn't know what to do, and they're like, then it just created so much tension on both sides. But yeah, then Kimmy just comes in and she's like, "Hey," um, but through the whole thing, like the first couple episodes, you're like, "Oh, Khan, this big guy, like maybe he's causing trouble, but like he's actually." Like the sweetest human being on the planet, like just trying to understand and make everyone like get along, and just having it spun that way, I just really appreciated. And Khan as a character, just
For sure. And Xanthe, as Haru in Persona 4, what resonated with you most about her character arc? Because she's such a major character and such a huge phenomenon of the game.
Oh, yeah, I think that her arc, she went from someone being very submissive and very not the person to rock the boat and always listen to her parents and any other adults, that when it came to major decisions of within her own life, I think that when she over comes that barrier to be like, okay, I'm my own person, I should be able to make decisions on my own. I think there's a great uh, she gets this great sense of independence through her awakening.
Yeah, for sure. And Kaylee, a similar question. You play Amelia in Re Zero. So what about that character has really resonated with you?
oh, I wasn't expecting these other questions. No. um, for Amelia, it was that I feel like Amelia in the first season is missing so much of her memories, and yet she's still in this position where she's trying to make such a big change and a good change for the people around her and take this leadership position on. And this whole time, yeah, she's like got all of this pressure on her, but she's still so sweet and kind and trying to understand all of the time. Um, and I just think that that's so amazing because you might see her as like, oh, she's like this very sweet, like refined girl, but like there's so much going on under the surface, and she's been through like so much hurt, and so much trauma, and she just still just wants to make sure everyone else is okay.
For sure. And my last question, it'll be for both of you again, and we can start with Xanthe. To go back to the show, it has a very measured pace and it keeps building, with episode 2 featuring that shocking ending with the syrup. What can we expect from the next 2 episodes
Um,
that
definitely
you can talk about?
expect a lot more moss. Um, and hmm, getting to know other characters' sides.
Okay, yeah. And Kaylee, do you have anything to add on to that?
Yeah, it's so hard not to spoil because, you know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's is it like really a horror anime? Like not that much has happened." But like Xanthe said, it's a lot of world building. So everything happens in episode 3 and 4, and it happens hard and it happens fast, and there's just a lot that's going on. All I'll say is like buckle up because you're not gonna expect the twists that are gonna happen. And you're gonna probably have to take some time to process what's happened afterwards because there's so much.